All right, welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining. So we have, well, first of all, Happy New Year to everyone because it is a brand new year. 2025 is here, and we are ready to get rolling and doing what we need to do. So the first thing I want to share is that obviously I am here for you, as I mentioned to the ladies before you joined, Jamie, that, my goal is to be here as a resource for you guys to let me know what you're struggling with because everybody has different struggles and I don't know what they are unless you bring them to me. So, being the coach, being the team leader, the only way that I can help you is if you guys come to me and say, Teresa, this is what I'm struggling with, whether it's time management, whether it's prospecting, whether whatever it is. I want to make sure that you guys, know that I'm here. That's what I'm here for. But I can't help you if you don't reach out, right? So if you're having struggles in your business and you're not doing what you feel like you should be doing, then reach out to me and say, hey, Teresa, let's have a one-on-one. I'm struggling with this. What can I do? How can I get started? Give me some tips, whatever it is. That's what I'm here for. So that's my first thing. Okay. My second thing is that there's more new forms, people, more new forms. NAR just released about another 4 or 5 different forms, and some of them are the same with some changes. Like they just released a new as is contract December 31st with some more changes on it. And there's a new condo writer. There's a few documents that just came into play. Those should be up in your dot loops if they're not already up there. I am going through them to make sure they're there on my end for my office, but it should be there corporate wide. If it isn't, if there's a document that you see that is not on there, please also let me know because again, I'm only one person. But if you guys see something, hey, Teresa, I noticed that this document wasn't in there, or I noticed that we still have this missing, or I can't fill out this form, or whatever the case is, let me know so I can figure out a way to fix it because I can't be everywhere all the time. So I need you guys, I need your eyes, I need you to let me know so that way I can help you. Okay. So that's the first thing. We have new forms. I'm gonna share with you a couple of the new forms. I'm not gonna go into detail on how to fill out these forms. I will record a separate video and put it on the YouTube channel on how to properly fill it out and understand it more. But I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so that you guys can know that you can either go into Form Simplicity through your board and look at these forms and kind of get a little bit more familiar with them. Again, I will have individual trainings for these forms and I'll post it in my YouTube channel. But I want to make sure that you guys at least know that there are new forms. So if you happen to go into your templates and you look at the form and you realize that it's not the right form, that you let us know right away so we can make sure that the new ones are uploaded. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen real quick, but let me just bring this up. And so now we're in 2025. And I'm just going to share this really quickly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I want to make sure that you guys, I want to talk about your goals. I want to talk, since it's a small group, I think that we can definitely do this, since it is a smaller group today. And we can really talk about what we're going to do in 2025 moving forward, at least for the first quarter. Okay. So new as is. You're gonna go to the bottom here. You're gonna look for the as is 7. That is the new one. Okay. So if you go into your files and you don't see the as is 7 and there's an old as is, you need to let us know. Okay. Even though they should be updated, but things happen and we all need to be aware. The few changes that were made were, and let me see if I remember correctly. And actually, I'm going to go back to forms and I'm going to bring up the one with the red lines. So hold on one second. Let me log out and log back in. Because they did have one that has the actual changes and like scratched out. So that way you can see. Let me see if it'll pop up. Here it goes. Updated. Click here to review changes. Florida Realtor bar. Closing services, compensation writer. Where is it? Where is it? We're here. Okay, right here. Nope, that's the condo writer. They just took it off. It was there this morning. Oh, actually, I think I might have downloaded it. Let me see if I downloaded it. Yep, I did. Okay, perfect. So let me share the screen. Stop share and then share this one because that's where it's at. Okay, so everybody see my screen? Good. All right. So here on the new as is, there's obviously they changed it to, remember the old one, it was 6. Now it is 7. The revision date was this date. Now it's obviously 12/24. So just make sure that you're filling out the right one. And then here are some of the changes coming up. Okay, so here they added seller's closing services instead of other. So when we did number 9 and it had closing costs to the seller, it only had other as a closing cost, right? So now it's seller's closing services. So they just reworded that. I'm assuming, and don't quote me on this, I am trying to get some information on that, just to be clear, but seller's closing services to me, where we used to put other was their transaction fee. So if we were charging the client the transaction fee or any type of closing cost, we would add it on here, right? So I'm assuming that that's what it's for. Instead of saying other, it is seller's closing services, which would be whatever the seller's closing services are that we're charging them. So that's in there. Okay. I'm not sure positive, but I will find out and get back to you guys. Hopefully I'll have it before I record the class. Buyer's closing services is another thing they added here. Buyer's closing services next to other. And they removed some of the verbiage here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this one so you guys have a red line copy of it. I'll share it in the chat in a couple minutes. And that way you can kind of go through it and be aware of the changes, some of the things that were deleted and some of the things that were added. Okay. Closing services shall have the meaning ascribed to the term in section da 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 da. So they added this whole verbiage here. They took out everything that you see scratched off. They took off. Okay, so it's no longer there. And this is both for, and this is the contract for South Florida because it does have the Miami-Dade Broward regional provision on there. So, you know, again, just pay attention to the things that they scratched off and then the things that they replaced it with. It's not a lot of, it's just a change in verbiage. It's not really a change in how it was done. They just reworded to protect themselves. So, you know, just keep in mind that some of those things have changed and you need to look at those. And then I think they changed a couple other things down here. Let me double check here. Yep. So they took out this whole section here when it comes to buyer default. So now the portion that says the portion of the deposit, if any, paid to the listing broker upon default by the buyer will be split equally between listing broker and cooperating broker. Okay. So provided, however, cooperating brokers shall not be greater than the commission amount listing broker has agreed to pay. So these are just things that you guys need to know that now that is not included in the verbiage in the contract. Okay. And let's see, I think that was pretty much it. Maybe a little bit more down here somewhere. Let me see. Thought I saw something else in red. Oh, here. So on the addendums, so you're going to have to review them because some of them they did remove. Obviously, they changed some of the letters because they had to readjust everything. But everything that you see scratched off obviously has either be rewritten or reorganized. So you'll see some changes in the addendums as far as that. They did add the FF, right? So these were not included in here before because these were the new documents, the FF and the GG. So they had the EE already, which was the PACE disclosure, but now they added the FF and the GG in there as well. So those are some of the things that they've added to the as is, and I believe they added a couple more here. Okay. And that is about it. Again, I'll do a full class on all of it once I find out some of the details before we get into it, before I put my foot in my mouth and say something that's not true. And I want to make sure that I get that covered. And since they just came out, we're still not completely clear on some of the stuff. So, but I just wanted to let you know that it is already changed. It's already there. So pay attention to those contracts. Now, there's also a new condo writer. There's also a new seller's disclosure. So those are all documents that were just released. Some of them were actually just released yesterday, January 6th. Okay. So I'll try to do classes and record them and put them on there, but I want to do my research first before I, again, go through those things. But I just wanted to make you guys aware that there are some new forms, more forms. Like we need more forms. We're still trying to learn the old forms. And they just added some new ones. So, all right. So I want to talk a little bit about goals. Okay. It's 2025. Who here has gone through their business plan already? Who has a business plan and who doesn't have a business plan? Maris, we'll start with you.
You are so mean.
It's only
year,
because you were the first one to join, so you're on the top, and I'm going by.
yeah, but this year I don't have a plan, not even for my life.
Okay, okay. Well, that's
I
honest.
don't know. I usually go through my plan, like professionally, personally, and I divide it into three. Like I want to grow in what, or what I want to do for me. But this year, I don't know. I was mad at everything, and I said, 2025, I'm gonna do what I want.
Okay,
So would be good to have a plan.
okay,
So
okay.
because
So,
I don't have yet.
okay, so maybe next week's training, maybe we'll focus on that, on starting to create at least a minimal business plan of some sort, because you have to have something, right? You have to have, that saying, a goal is just a dream without action, right? Or
Mhm.
no, a goal without action is just a dream. I had that back.
Yes.
A goal without action is just a dream. And that's exactly what it is, right? Because we can have
Well,
all the goals in the world. If we don't have
mhm.
an action plan to execute that goal, it's just a dream that we have in our head. And it's never going to happen because we don't have a plan of execution. So let's maybe next week, I'll try to get something together. I'll share it in the group chat, like a whole business plan thing, and then you guys can take a look at it and kind of play around with it. But let's try to focus and at least knowing, I mean, the basics, like for your real estate business, like
Yeah.
how much money do you want to make? Like,
Yeah.
to go, right? If we don't know how much money we want to make,
Sometime what got me in this mood is the situation about my listing.
okay.
And you know, he was my client was the whole Christmas in intensive care. So I was receiving proposals um, from some people, and his wife replied his phone one day and said, "Listen, Hector is in intensive care." So I asked his phone now. He has like the something that breathe for him. So the breather, I don't know the name.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh my God, this business is not easy. You need a lot of self motivation.
Yes,
Because
yes.
it can be you can be here one day, like happy because you have a listing and everything is going perfect, and then you receive an offer, and then you realize your client is very sick, and actually he's losing the house. You know that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
we were in with the judge, and they gave us until February 19 to sell
Okay.
the house.
Hmm.
And I want to retake all the things because he chat back to me around the 29th. He was discharged, he was home, and he said, Marie, sorry, I will need a kidney transplant, kidney no, los riñones.
Mhm. A lung,
No, no, los riñones es el,
the liver,
no, not the liver.
oh, then the kidneys.
Kidneys,
Yeah.
kidneys. He will need the kidneys transplant.
Because he was going through dialysis, right? You said?
He's going through
Yeah.
dialysis, but the problem is every time he goes through that, he gets this like very sick. So
Mhm.
they have to put him to sleep in
Mhm.
order to recover because he's so weak
Mhm.
that he get really, really bad when he received dialysis.
May I ask you a
So
question, Maris? Does
yeah,
his wife have a power of attorney?
I tried to when she chat to me, I said, "Can you give me your cell phone?" And she said, "We can talk through his phone." And then she told me, "I didn't know that Hector was going through all this, that
Mhm.
he was losing the house in Orlando."
Mhm.
And I said, "Please don't tell him.
Mhm.
Remember that he is not in the." So she explained to me what happened because I didn't even know what happened to him.
Mhm.
And everything started after COVID. He got COVID and he got sick. And some people, it depends how the COVID hits you. It can affect any part of your body.
Mhm.
He got sick, like his kidneys got really damaged.
Mhm.
So now the doctors told him he need a transplant. I don't know. At this point, we are late to close February 19. And I lowered the price as much as I can because he has debt to
Mhm.
pay. So yes, I think that the whole situation got me in a mood that I said like, okay, we can talk in January. I
Yeah.
won't put more pressure on him because he's sick.
Mhm.
And when you are that sick, you just want to leave. You don't want to lose a house. You,
Right.
you don't think about a
Yeah,
house.
you don't care
The
about the
house
house.
is
You're trying to
is
live.
not important for you, right?
Right.
But for me, is my business. So
All right,
when I,
so let's talk about then and again, every day is a brand new day, right? Every day God gives us one more day to make it happen,
Mhm.
right? So we can't think about tomorrow, I mean tomorrow, and we can't think about what happened yesterday and what's going on yesterday. We have to focus on today and moving forward. So
Yes,
we have to still think about how we're going to make this happen, right? Because there's still a lot of families that need us, that need our help, that need to sell, that
yeah,
need to buy, that are in situations just like this gentleman that really can't, they have to sell. They have no other choice.
yeah,
So with that being said, it's just learning. We have to have the goals in place in order for us to be able to take our business to the next level. So, my question to you guys, and I want you to think about this throughout the week, is how much money do you want to make in 2025? Like, if you have a full-time job that you want to leave, how much money do you need to make in order to be able to leave that job? Okay. So that you can
yes,
real estate full time, which we've talked about this, I think, before. But just to refresh, if you know how much money you make a year and you can replace that income, then you're able to leave your job because now you're able to replace your income, right? That 9 to 5
yes,
that you're, or in Shanika's case, 9 to 10. So those are things that you have to, know where you're at and where you're going and how much money you want to make.
yes,
Because once you have a number of how much income you want to make, then we can reverse engineer that to figure out, okay, so I want to make $100,000. This is how many houses I need to sell based on the average commission in your area. This is the number of houses I need to sell. Okay, so if I have to sell 10 houses this year to make $100,000 based on a $10,000 commission, okay, so what do I need to do in order to get those 10 leads, right? Those 10 closed deals. And so now we're reverse engineering to find out, okay, how many calls do we have to make? How many people do we have to talk to every single day in order to make that go happen? Okay. All top producers have a plan. They know how many calls they have to make every day. They know how many people they have to talk to every week. They know how many appointments they need to have, every week. So they know these things because they look at their numbers and they look at their goals and what they need to do to accomplish those goals. Top producers are not flying by the feet of their pants. They're not like, okay, today I feel like working and tomorrow, nah, I think I'll take the day off. No, that's not what's happening, right? So
No.
if you want to be in that realm where you can, at least survive and have a nice income in real estate, because that's what you got into real estate for. I know a lot of people say, oh, I love it. I really enjoy selling houses. But at the end of the day, guys, we all want to make money. We all need to make money, period.
Exactly.
So the only way that we're going to do this is by being able to get those numbers, know what our numbers are, know how many calls we need to make, know how many people we need to talk to, and we need to break it down to the minimum. And I think I've shared this with you guys before. If I want to lose 10 pounds, I don't want to lose 50 pounds, but anyway, we'll start with 10. If you want to lose with 10 pounds, I need to say, okay, I need to lose 10 pounds, let's say in 3 months. Okay, so in 3 months, that's whatever, 90 days. Okay, so if I have to lose 10 pounds in 90 days, that's about 3.5 pounds a month, right? So what do I have to do to lose those 3.5 pounds a month, right? I have to drink more water. I have to exercise more. My goal is just to lose 3.5 pounds a month. So I'm just going to focus on that. So if you already know that you have to sell 10 houses, that means you have to sell at least a house every month and a half in order to get to your 10 sales. So if you know that, then you know exactly what you need to do in order to get there. Because if I know I want to lose 10 pounds and I have 3 months to do it and I got to lose 3.5 pounds a month, I need to figure out, okay, what do I need to do to lose those 3.5 pounds this month? And then if I lose those 3.5 pounds this month, I just repeat the same thing the following month so that I can get the other 3.5 down, right? More water, more exercise, and no cookies after 6, simple. So, so those are the things that we need to remember, that we have to think about our goals. We have to think about, especially now starting the year, like you don't want to wait until June to figure out, man, I didn't do anything the first 6 months, because now you're
Yeah.
behind, right? So if you start now, that's going to help you a little bit to get the ball rolling. So think about how much money you want to make. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take, right? So write that down if you can. You're going to take that amount of money. You're going to find out what the average home sale in your area is and what the average commission is for that home sale. So if you have, let's say Miami, the average home sale is 550, right? So, and if the average commission is 2% or 2.5, I'm going to multiply the 550 by 2.5. That's going to give me the average commission. Now I'm going to take my $100,000. I'm going to divide it by that commission, and it's going to tell me how many houses I need to sell. And then once we have a number of how many houses you need to sell, now we can start reverse engineering as to how many calls you need to start making, how many people you need to talk to, and what are you doing to talk to people? What are you doing to talk to people? Shanika, what are you doing to talk to people?
I mean, like I said, first thing first is prosperity. Like every time I meet someone, I immediately let them know I'm a real estate. And I'm not like, hey, I'm selling home, but like, hey, I'm a realtor. Um,
Okay.
that's the first step. That's how I get my clients, the first clients, and then some people I was like, if you know anyone, please refer me. Do you know anyone that wants to buy a home or wants to list a home? And those are one of the ways that every time I'm socialized, I'm speaking to someone, I always bring that profession up to so at least they'll know that I'm a realtor if you need. The thing with that is, like you guys said, a lot of people know so much realtors. So,
So
sometime
then,
when I get,
so then you need
mm-hmm,
to change the verbiage.
mm-hmm,
So when someone asks me what I do, other than, what I do,
mm-hmm,
if I know that I'm marketing for real estate,
mm-hmm,
I don't tell them I'm a realtor,
mm-hmm.
because what happens? The first thing that goes through their head, oh, another
I
realtor.
already have one. Mm-hmm,
Another realtor, oh, I have 10 friends that are realtors, right?
mm-hmm,
So you don't want to change the verbiage to make it more professional. Instead of saying I'm a realtor, maybe what you can say is if somebody asks you what you do or what you've been up to, oh, I actually, I opened up my own real estate business, right? That sounds more professional and more big.
Can you
And
repeat that? You went in and out. You left.
yes, that I would say something to the nature of if somebody were to ask you, what are you doing lately? What you up to, Sharnika? Oh my God, I opened up a real estate business and I'm actually helping people sell and buy homes and I'm super excited about my new business. Because that sounds better than realtor. Because when they hear realtor, their automatic response is another realtor. But when you
The
tell them
word,
you
I think
own a
that's
real
the
estate
other,
business, I'm sorry, Maris?
I think that's the next change the NARD has to do, like change the word realtor because it trigger people is, yeah, because they have taken that name as, part of scam or I don't know what people think, or like you said, another realtor. Yeah.
And that's really what is going on in their head. If they're saying, "Oh, another realtor," right? Because I mean, there are a lot of realtors, and
I know.
everybody pretty much in their family knows a realtor. Okay, so you have to stand out. You cannot be the same as everybody else, and that's why changing your
And
verbiage is
they
so important.
and they are so bad. Listen, I don't know if everybody knows here, but I work in an HOA.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of realtors, but they are so bad. Oh my God, it's poor service they offer. So
Yes, they
people,
do.
tenants that come to me and say, I didn't know we had internet included. And I have been paying for internet for the last year. And I said, oh, really? So congratulations to the landlord that hired that realtor that never told you that the internet is included.
Mhm.
So it's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's where we have to stand apart, right? So it's again changing that verbiage as you're speaking to these prospects, if as you're talking to people, get the word realtor out of your head and you are a real estate business owner. You own a real estate business. Okay. Because to me, if you were to come up to me and say, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, Teresa, I own a real estate business, I'm going to say, oh, really? Oh, my God. What do you mean you own a real estate? Like, that's going to start more of a conversation versus you telling them that you're a realtor, because that word automatically is like a shut off switch. It's like another realtor. So changing the verbiage as to how you're doing your elevator pitch, that's your elevator pitch, is really important because again, you when you say stuff like that, you run into a friend, right? You're calling, you go to a party, you run into a friend, you tell them, yeah, I opened up my own real estate business, and oh my God, I would so appreciate your help. Like, I'm trying to grow my business, so if you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate, send them my way. I have a great team that I work with, and I would love to have, their business, right? That sounds better than I'm a realtor if you know anybody that wants to sell or buy. Because as
Very
soon
much.
as you say realtor, they're going to shut off the switch. They're not even going to hear the part if you know of anybody that wants to buy or sell, right? But if you say, "Oh my God, Sharnika, yeah, I have my real estate business, and by the way, man, I could really use your help, Sharnika. I'm just trying to grow my business. So if you happen to know anyone who's looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate, please think of me. Give them my information because my goal is to grow my business really big and so I can help other people, right? So when you ask for help, people tend to want to help. If you're just doing a sales pitch, then they're going to be shut off as soon as you say realtor and they're not going to listen to your sales pitch. Okay. So changing the verbiage is really important. But what are you doing intentionally? So these are just, I go to an event. Yeah. I might mention I'm a real estate agent or whatever. I own a real estate business, or, I go to another event but what are you doing intentionally every single day to talk to at least 3 to 5 people? What are you doing intentionally?
See, that's what I need to be working on 2025.
Okay.
Working on how to work on my business every day, how to put in something per day.
So how
And
long
that
does it take you to drive to work, Shanika?
20 minutes.
And what time do you leave for work?
In the morning, I get there kind of, once I get there before 9, sometimes I leave my house at 8.
Okay,
Sometimes
so you have 20 minutes in your vehicle in the morning.
yes.
That's 20 minutes. You can make at least one phone call, maybe even two. Most people are up at that hour. You know, if you're calling them after 8 o'clock, it's legal for you to call them after 8. And you're not bothering anyone after 8. But most people are up. So if even if it's a friend of a friend or somebody on your phone, whatever it is, it's an opportunity for you to call one or two people. So like when agents tell me, Teresa, I don't have time to call, and I ask that same question, okay, so what are you doing on the way to work? What are you doing on the way to work?
Karaoke.
Okay, so is karaoke gonna make you money?
Karaoke. Singing in my car, thinking I'm a superstar.
So unless you're going on American Idol to win $100,000, girl, you need to change. You need to change that strategy. Okay.
I really do.
So be intentional. That's my point. You have to find a way to be intentional with what you're doing to prospect, because if you're not being intentional, then it's not going to happen, right? So I know Jamie here, you probably take your kids to school, and I know she's driving, so you take your kids to school, so how long does it take you to get your kids to school? How long does it take you to get back home from taking your kids to school? Those are all times in our cars that we waste on, doing karaoke, right?
Karaoke.
Or just making phone calls that have no relevance to your business, right?
Best
So
friend.
so that's why you have to be intentional. So you have to take the time out of your schedule every single day to commit to making at least 5 phone calls a day, minimum 5 phone calls a day. It could be one in the morning, one at your lunchtime, 2 or 3 in the evening, or two on the way home. Just as long as you commit to 5 phone calls or 5 contacts a day, 5 conversations. And if you called one and they didn't answer, then call the next one, because it's 5 conversations you're looking for. So if that takes you 10 phone calls to get 5 conversations is what you need to do, right? So, but being intentional about it, because if you're just doing it whenever you come across an event or come across a party or you're not being intentional with your business. You're just, if it comes up, I'll talk about it, but if it doesn't, then I won't talk about it, right? So that's where we need to get to. We need to get to that intentionality, which is my word for 2025. So my word for 2025 is be more intentional, right? Because as you guys, obviously are prospecting for leads, I'm prospecting for agents. So I have to be more intentional in my prospecting for real estate agents to grow the company, right? So again, that's where we have to create that intentional environment and be consistent on being intentional. Because I'm guilty, so I'm not saying I'm perfect. I fall, I fail, I sometimes I get up and I'm like, I'm not talking to anybody today. But it's getting back on the horse, as they say, right? It doesn't matter that today I didn't feel like it, as long as I know, okay, I didn't make the 5 phone calls today, tomorrow let me try to make 10, right? I didn't do the 5 I needed to do. Okay, tomorrow let me try to do 10. And if I can't do 10 and I do 7, perfect, right? But the thing is to be intentional about doing it. Okay. So Jamie, tell me a little bit about what you're doing, if you can. I know you're driving.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can.
to prospect, or what are you doing every day to grow your business?
Well, unfortunately, I can't work on it every day because I work on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at my other job. And then, by the time I get home,
Oops, I just lost her. All right, so hopefully she'll jump back. Again, it's finding the time, right? So even though she said, I don't do it every day because I have another job 3 days a week, that doesn't mean that you can't find even there's always time. There's always time. Always. If I say right now that, oh my God, I didn't get everything done today, then that means I got to get up earlier tomorrow morning because there's 24 hours in a day. I got to get up a little earlier tomorrow so I can tackle the things that I wasn't able to accomplish today and catch up, right? But if I don't do that, if I just say, oh, I didn't have time, right? So then tomorrow comes and I'm working my regular hours or whatever, and I still can't catch up because I'm not being intentional and I'm not trying to make the time. So it's about finding the time, and time management is one of the worst things that realtors go through, right? It's managing their time. And actually, every human being has a hard time with that. But at the end of the day, there's 24 hours in a day. 24 hours. We sleep only 8. That gives us 16 hours a day of productive time. And if you have a full-time job and you're working 10, that still leaves you with 6. So if you really think about it, there is time. It's just that we don't make the time, right? For instance, I started fasting, right? Drinking a lot of water. Because my high blood pressure was really out of control. And I said, I'm doing a 21-day fast and I'm going to stick to this 21-day fast. And it's not really to lose the weight, but it's really to control my blood pressure. So I started fasting. It's a 16-hour no eating fast. So that's what I committed to. I'm not eating for 16 hours. That includes my sleep hours, right? So I'm sleeping 8 hours. So I really have to not eat for 8 hours because I'm sleeping the other 8. So I just focus on drinking water, drinking out water, those 8 hours, right? Now, when my 16 hours are up, I still have 8 hours that I can eat, which I'm really happy about. Not that I'm gonna eat all 8 hours, but I have 8 hours where I can say, okay, Teresa, you have 8 hours. You have this meal at this time, you have this meal at this time. And if you have room for another meal, fine. But if not, no big deal. And then I go back to my 16 hours. So it's the same thing with time management. There's 24 hours in one day. And if we're only working 8 to 10 hours, and that's including travel time, let's say, 8 to 10 hours, that still leaves us 6 hours of time that we can dedicate to the business or to whatever we want to dedicate it to, but there is time. It's just we're not making the time. And it all goes back to your why. So Shanika, what is your why? I think we did a class on it. Did you ever?
No, what do you mean my why?
What's your purpose?
My purpose is to be successful in anything that I put my attention to or my goal to. So
But
2025
what's your greater purpose?
is to make money.
Okay. Why is it important for you to make money?
So I can be able to live a little more comfortable, so I can be able to help others,
Okay, so
family members.
let's just concentrate on one answer, like one statement. So
So I can live a little more
why do
comfortable.
you, okay, so, and why is it important for you to be comfortable?
Because if I don't have to worry about things, I'll be at peace.
Okay, and why is it important for you to have peace?
Because it brings happiness and joy.
Why is it important for you to be happy and joyful?
Because it feels good.
Okay, but I
It
mean,
feeds
that's
my
not really
soul.
an answer because obviously joy and help it feels good. But why is, okay, so why is it so important for you to feel good?
Because feeling bad is the devil.
Okay, so why do you not want to feel like the devil?
Because I'm a woman of God.
Okay, So, and why is it important for you to be a woman of God?
Because I want to make it to heaven.
Amen. So, what's your why? What's your why?
To do right
And make it
by
to
the
heaven.
people and make it to heaven. Yeah.
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you have to really find out what your why is. Because if you don't
Mm-hmm.
have a deeper purpose, being
Mm-hmm.
financially free and having money and being successful is not
Mm-hmm.
a purpose. You
Mm-hmm.
have an inner purpose, something
Mm-hmm.
that you wake up every morning and want to accomplish. I'll tell you my why. When I did
Mm-hmm.
my why, it came
Mm-hmm.
down to that I didn't want to die and go to heaven and stand in the feet at the feet of Jesus. And he asked me, Teresa, what did you do with the life I gave you? And I have nothing to say. That's my
That's
why.
why I want to feel bad.
That's my purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want for me to on this earth to be a difference to others. And when
Mm-hmm.
Jesus asked me, Teresa, what did you do with the life I gave you? I'm going to have a lot to say,
I
right?
help your people. You know, one that it was a hungry lady that needed. I was there. I donated to someone that wasn't able to do certain things. So
So, okay,
I
so
hear
your
you.
why to making money is because you want to help others and you want to make it to heaven and have that peace, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
your why. That it's not to make, be famous and be successful.
No, it's not.
That's not going to drive you every morning. When you wake
No, it's
up
not.
every morning, that's not going to be you saying, "Oh, I'm going to get up today because I want to be successful and I'm going to go sell some houses." No,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to wake up today because I need to make a difference. And the only way I can
Mm-hmm.
make a difference is to produce so that I can bless
Mm-hmm.
others, so that when I make
Mm-hmm.
it to heaven, God
Mm-hmm.
is going to know I did what I needed to do here.
Yes, that was a good one. So that is very motivating because that is my purpose.
Right. So,
You got to the
finding
bottom
your
of
why is
it.
super, super important because,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people start with, oh, yeah, I want to make more money and I want to be successful. That's not going to drive me every morning
No.
when I get up, especially when you come from a humble background,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because when you come from a humble background, money is not really, it's okay, but it's not like you live for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you come from a humble background, you tend to have a bigger purpose, right? And money, yes, is important, but it's not something that we like get up every morning and say, "Ooh, today I want to go make $1 million," right? Um, so your purpose is that, your why is that, right? You want to get to heaven, you want to make money so that you can make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's going to motivate you when you decide to make those phone calls. Why am I making these phone calls? Go back to your why, write it down somewhere. This is my why. And go back to that why, because that why is going to propel you to keep doing the things that you don't want to do right now, because there's no motivation for you to do them. You being successful and making money is really not your motivation, but now you know what it
It's
is.
to help others. Yeah.
Right. So now, because of that, that's going to motivate you every morning. And every time you have to talk to people, no, I need to make money because I want to help others. I really want to make a difference. Let me get to work. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's why that why is so important. Okay.
Yeah.
Maris. So what are you doing intentionally to build your business? What are you going to do in
Um,
2025 intentionally to
yeah,
business?
I need, listen, I need to, you were talking now about
The why?
the why, and I was questioning myself. Probably I'm depressed because I don't remember my first, like, the why I entered this business. I remember, but I know I did this exercise with you before,
Mhm.
and I don't remember like my why.
Okay. So then
So
do the exercise again. And
yeah,
then when you come up with your why, I want you to write it and really big somewhere and put it somewhere where you can see it every day.
It's a 5-time question, right?
7.
7? Wow.
7. So, and really it's just that. It's, you put down what you think your why is, or why you want to be
Yeah.
successful. Why do you want to be successful? You're going to put whatever you think it is, and then you're going to ask yourself, why is that important? Then why is that important? And why is that important for every answer that you give? And then usually by the 6th or 7th level, you've already found your why.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it has to go deeper. It's not, every time I do this exercise, nobody ever, like I was doing it with my fiance,
Mm-hmm.
and he started with the same thing, oh, I want to be successful because, I want us to be okay. Okay. Why is that important to you? By the time we got to the end, you know what he said?
He was crying.
He was crying, and he said,
Because I'm about to cry.
I don't want to be like my father.
Aww.
I don't want to be
No.
like my father. So it went from that, from being successful, to that he didn't want to turn out, he didn't want to be the person his father was or is.
Wow.
I was doing the exercise in my mind, and basically it takes me to do not depend on anyone. And I think the reason is because my mother, she depends on us right now in his old age, because of my father and her decide to separate.
Mhm. Yeah, but
And I
go
always
deeper.
think about that.
Go deeper. It's deeper than that.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to be like my mom, like depend on anyone, my daughter.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
have
but
just one daughter, so imagine poor girl.
yeah, well, and the thing is that, when you start digging deeper, and like I said, it's when you start doing it, it should really touch your heart. It should really, Sharnika, we just did it kind of like briefly, but if you really like just take the time to actually do it on paper, and it's really, why do I want to be successful? You're going to put why you want to be successful, or what you
7
think you want to
times.
be successful. And then you're just going to ask yourself, well, why is that important to you? And then you're going to give just a one sentence, not a whole story, just a one sentence or one comment as to why that's important to you. And then you're going to do it again 7 times until it really hits you, because your why will make you emotional. Your why will be like, oh my God, like,
I mean, honestly, I know you probably breathed through it, but you answered my question for me in general, because I help a lot of people, even with the minimum that I have. Even I'm not rich, I'm not a baller, but I do help with whatever I got. I mean,
mm-hmm,
I don't like to see people in trouble.
mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I'm not being used either. I do
Yeah.
go with my spiritual discernment. I'm not saying I'm
Amen.
going around,
Amen. Amen.
spreading the
Mhm.
nerves. I do go with my spiritual discernment, but all my life I've helped people, and it's not just financial, because sometimes you
Yeah,
help and it's not just about financial. I'm just
of
saying
course, of
generally
course.
being there for someone. So
Amen.
you just answered my question today. Like, it's amazing. I didn't want to get all spiritual after, cut Marissa off,
Yeah, no,
but
no.
I found you gave me my purpose today.
Amen. Amen. And and the thing is that we need to know what that is, because that's what's gonna drive us. Like when we get up every morning and we look at our why, I look at it every day. And every day I'm like, Lord, I want to do it the best I can today to touch, even if I just touch one life today,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whether it's this, right? Whether it's just
Mm-hmm.
doing a group coaching and helping someone
Mm-hmm.
realize their
Mm-hmm.
why,
Exactly.
or whatever
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
a conversation, a prayer, whatever it is that I'm doing, I want to be able to be intentional about reaching heaven and be able to say everything I need to say to God, right?
Yep.
and and
Helping his
and know
children.
that he's proud of me, right? Because I think that we all want God to be proud of us, because he did give
Mm-hmm.
us a life,
Mm-hmm.
so we want
Mm-hmm.
obviously for him to be proud of the life he gave us. And so, to me it's always been about making him proud. So
Mm-hmm.
that, when I started doing this and I
Mm-hmm.
went deeper and deeper, I was bawling, girls.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God. And it honestly, it took me years not to get emotional saying it. Like I've learned in the last year to, I've already internalized it. So, but when I used to give my why before, I used to cry because it just hit me every single time, right? So that's why it's important. So Marisa, I definitely want you to do the exercise and get to your why and be able to really, and don't super analyze it. Go with your heart, This is a heart exercise. This is a, goal with the first thing that God puts in your head. Okay, why is that important to me? Okay, because of this, right? You don't have to create a whole story. It's just a comment. Why is it important? And then the deeper you go, the deeper your why gets. And that's where you need to figure that out, because that's what's going to move you every single day forward. Every single day. Okay. So it is 9 o'clock. So I don't want to keep you anymore, but try to, at least for next week.
I'm gonna do it now.
Yeah, good. Do it now. But for next week, I want you guys to determine how much money you want to make this year in 2025.
Okay.
And do that math. Okay. The math is very simple. I want to make $100,000. Okay. My average commission for my area is 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000. How many times does that go into 100,000? That's going to give you the number of houses you need to sell. So all I need to know is how many houses you need to sell this year to make your income goal. Okay. Then we'll go down and breaking it down a little bit more to how many calls you should be making, how many people you should be talking to. But from here on out, even if you just do 5 and you have the time, guys, you have the time. You have the time. You just have to make the time, because you can find the time, whether it's driving home, whether it's driving, if you're going to go do the groceries and you have to drive to Publix 20 minutes, that's 20 minutes in the car that you can make a phone call, right? Or contact someone. If you're at Publix and you want to, that's a conversation right there. The girl at the checkout, that's a conversation. That counts as a conversation, so, but obviously exchanging your information too, right? Because you need them to know your information. So, or you need to get their information is really what you need to do. But those are the things that you need to do. You have to prospect every single day and have conversations every single day. And again, the top producers, that's what they're doing. They're very intentional, and they're very structured. And they say from this hour to this hour, that's all I'm doing. I turn off my do not disturb on my phone, and all I'm doing is making phone calls for that, whatever, half an hour, an hour. Okay? So really
To be
important
honest,
for you guys to do.
Teresa, that is correct, because I do have a friend of mine, which how I got into the real estate, that is very intentional, like you're saying. And when I say very intentional, he knows how much doors he's knocking on, how many calls he's making a day, what time, blocks, histories of whatever home doors he's knocking. Just like you say, so intentional. And I mean, this is every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
Exactly. And I'm sure he's being very successful.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the motivation I do have a little bit, watching how so intentional, how many doors are you knocking every day? Like, you're going to get 1 out of 40. Like, he literally says, I'm knocking at 40 doors a day. And he means that. Mm-hmm. To get one.
Yeah.
And he means that. And he gets it.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying, that those are things that you need to be intentional about. Mm-hmm. Because if you know how many people, how many conversations you need to have, if your numbers say I need to have 10 conversations a day, mm-hmm. you don't stop until you get your 10 conversations a day, right? Because the numbers are the numbers. You're going to have 100 conversations a week, or whatever the conversations mm-hmm, are a week, mm-hmm, in order to get that 1 or 2 leads. Mm-hmm. So you have to be intentional, and then you have to do it again, and then you have to do it again.
When I said 10 years, you've been in it 10 years, and I watched it. Mm-hmm. The intentional part is very important. Like you said, what are you doing intentionally every day?
Every day. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. So I'll leave you girls with that.
Have you.
A great week.
This was a great meeting.
Thank you. And let's keep doing it. I know I've kind of fluctuated a little bit with our are
I
cool.
was about to reach out to you today. That's the weird part.
Yeah. And I actually, what happened is this year I changed it to Thursdays, and I forgot that I changed it to Thursdays. So I send the meeting today because it's all in my agent account on Thursdays, every week on Thursdays. So I went in my in my agent account to just make sure I had the right link. And I realized that I actually changed it to Thursdays, but we had it Tuesday this week. So next week it'll be on Thursday.
Okay, Thursday
Okay.
it is. See you Thursday then.
All right. See you guys next week, Thursday. Okay. Love
All
you
right. Thanks
guys.
Next
again,
week.
Teresa.
Thank you,
Love you too.
Teresa.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank
Okay.
you. Everybody have a good day.
Bye, Shanika. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.